everyone is clear. So now we go to what is literature review and why it is to be done. Literature review is a survey, a scholarly articles, book, whatever the relevant material that you find for your thesis or your dissertation or your research paper. You can definitely do find such kind of literature reviews, and then you study it. Why we do the literature review? The first is, as I said, you're supposed to find out the research gap. So you're supposed to find out the gap in the literature, that in this particular area of social media marketing, what are the things that are already been covered and what new I can come up with is your research gap. And it is important to highlight this research gap into your research paper, right? And then only a good journal will accept your paper as you are offering something new, right? To understand the topic and finalize the title, because you want to get an idea that in this field, what are the type of researches that can be done and how you should go ahead with that. So it is important to understand the topic, and with the help of this understanding, you can finalize your title. To know how to conduct the research into a particular area. So in a particular area, how you can go ahead, what are the things that you can cover, what are the variables you can cover, and what, see, there could be thousands of variables that are important. But for that particular type of a research in social media, if you're talking about mental health due to social media, then what are the variables that are important? So there are unnecessary variables that can be cut down, and factors and variables which are important that can be taken into consideration. To overcome the limitations of other researchers, this is the first and foremost reason wherein you are trying to overcome the limitations that are being faced by the earlier researchers. So these are these four basic reasons why we start with the LR, right? Next, there are a few general guidelines for doing the LR. Introduce the LR by pointing out the major research topics. The broad problem should be discussed, not too global, not too specific. And don't try to cover everything into your LR. There could be, as I said, many variables that might be affecting. Just cut down on the unimportant variables. It's important to cover research related. Agar aapki research ke related, whatever are the variables, it's important to cover all of them. Research that explains the relationship between the variables should be kept at a top priority. Then there are various ways into which you should organize a literature review. First is topical order. Topical order means you're going topic wise. Most of the time in case of research paper or in case of PhD thesis, researchers are referring this way of writing the topical order, wherein what you are doing is you are doing topic wise. So say for example, if you are working on retirement planning, you can just work on what are the factors that are affecting the retirement planning. So first set of factors are demographic factors, then the set of factors are psychological factors, then the set of factors are job satisfaction related factors. So there are multiple factors that might be affecting, and you are writing the first few research papers related to demographic variables impact on retirement planning, then psychological variables on retirement planning. Then you might have certain research papers which are in combined finding and covering demographic as well as psychological variables on retirement planning. So this is, we call the literature review topic wise literature review. Then the common one that we all are following, chronological order. So you can write it year wise as per they are published, or A to Z, right? Then problem cause solution order, wherein you are trying to, there are certain researches when there are problems are being highlighted, and then you are putting certain research papers wherein the solutions are written, right? So this is called problem cause solution order. You can write it in this manner also if your research paper is focusing on problems and solutions of a particular thing, right? Then the another common factor, way of writing the literature review is funnel approach. So you just write the topic in general way, and then you come to a specific point or your topic, right? So this is another funnel approach of writing your research literature review. Then specific to general, you write down some specific literature reviews that are directly focusing upon your own research paper, and then you are writing in general. So these are the 5 ways of writing the literature review. So you can choose any one of them. Now, there could be many other approaches of writing the literature. Some are following the academic approach, some are following the critical approach of writing. However you wish to write your literature review, you can select any one particular perspective and go ahead with that, right? I hope everyone is clear. Just give me a thumbs up if you all are very clear till this point of time, so that I can move ahead with how to write the research methodology chapter. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Let's go further with how to write the research methodology chapter. So you can just take a screenshot of this. This is the most important chapter of your paper. So these are the things that you should cover into your research methodology chapter for your research paper. The first is need for the study. Why you are supposed to do this study? How this research paper would be helpful? Okay, that you are supposed to write. Then the scope of the study means, say for example, if you are covering the Indian educational system, what in Indian educational system? Are you going to compare the traditional and the latest method, or are you going to talk about the benefits of a latest teaching pedagogies, and what can be the next upgradations into teaching pedagogy? So what is your scope? What your research paper is basically focusing upon, that scope you're supposed to write down. Then the beneficiaries who are going to get the benefit out of this particular study. So if I'm talking about the impact of social media on mental health of youth, so you can just write that youth will get the benefit out of this, right? Then research design. So basically there are three types of research design: exploratory, descriptive, and causal. Exploratory is when you are not clear about your title, how you're going to go ahead, and you're just going on and peeping on things, and then you are finalizing what to do. So at that point of time, it is called exploratory research design. In the exploratory research design, you're just trying to get the final crystallized title. You may not end up with your final findings, right? So that is called exploratory design. If you're just trying to describe the attitude, perception, and behavior of individuals, that would be a descriptive research design, right? Most of the social science researches are based upon descriptive research design, wherein you are focusing upon describing the attitude, perception, satisfaction, behavior for consumers or investors or your respondents, right, as a whole. So that is one another method. Then there could be a causal method. Causal method is talking about finding a cause and effect relationship between two or more variables. So if you are trying to find out the impact of demographic variables on retirement planning, you can click on this. If you are trying to find out the impact of social media on mental health of youth, then causal research design could be there. So these are the three methods or research design from which you can select any one of them and clearly mention it over here that, see, now it could be possible that you're using more than one method in one particular research. You can use exploratory as well as descriptive simultaneously. That is completely fine. If you are also describing and finding the impact of one variable on another, or many variable on one single dependent variable, then also you can definitely talk on this, right? You can take up descriptive and causal as well. So one research design is compulsory to mention. Simultaneously, you can mention with the other research designs. So sampling design, these are the things that should be included into sampling design.